Hey, is this thing on? I think so. All right, welcome actors, filmmakers, whoever you may be. This is the first of kind of a new thing I'm doing where I'm just trying to address some general questions kind of on a somewhat regular basis that I get asked a lot. My name is Daniel Brea. I run a company called Dream Reach Media, Brea Films. I produce content, online viral stuff, commercial work, all that stuff. But more importantly, I help actors grow their own businesses, get into production, control their own careers, essentially get creative and financial independence by building their own businesses up, rid themselves of day jobs, 9 to 5s, and all that, and learn more about the production industry, the entertainment industry as a whole, and immerse themselves more because you know what? Big stars do it at some point anyway, so you need to get going with that stuff right now. What I get asked a lot, I don't get asked this a lot. I find myself saying this a lot, which is why I figured I'd just make this video about it, is like a little bit more clarity on, branding and the industry navigation for actors, but this also applies to directors and, creative media artists in general. Here's the thing, guys. You have agents, you have acting coaches, and all kinds of people saying that an actor shouldn't brand themselves, or that they should, a good actor is, it's all about the craft, and if you're good, and you're going to get hired, and no matter what, and therefore you shouldn't limit yourself as an artist, and go for it. Do whatever you want, apply to everything, submit to everything. Here's why that's dumb advice, okay? Well, a good artist could draw pretty much anything, right? But let me just explain it this way, right? The word entertainment is nice in and of itself. The word industry is nice in and of itself, but these are sort of two different sides of the brain, and this side often doesn't interact well with that side and vice versa. They don't understand each other, at least people think that. Somehow they feel like these are two parts of the same name of a word here, or a double word name that are kind of in conflict with each other. But you need to take this as a whole, and here's why. The industry drives the entertainment, okay? And this will all make sense. I'll loop back around and kind of finish where we started. Who are you? You're an actor. You're a director, right? Okay, so you act. All right? What do you act in? Plays, movies, or what do you want to act in? All right, well, let's just say productions. Without the productions, there's nothing to act for, right? There's no place to execute your craft, all right? What are productions? All right? They are pieces of media that are created for an audience, right? Okay. So when you get a job as an actor, who do you work for? The producer, the casting director, the executive, the studio? Yeah, sure, all of the above. But who do they work for? Viacom? Comcast? Netflix? Amazon? Well, those are distributors, right? They distribute the productions. Warner Brothers, Lionsgate. And they may do some funding, but the bottom line is they distribute. Why do they distribute? Because they have the audience, right? So who does the distributor work for? The audience. So who do you work for? The audience. Now, who is this audience? You, me, your grandma, your uncle, your friends? Yeah. But nobody has, well, There are very large companies like Amazon who have large parts of the audience. Netflix, they can reach a lot of people. But audiences tend to be broken up. Why? Because there's a lot of different channels, there's a lot of different things. And that's why even within the big things like Netflix and the OTT services and conglomerates that have, media moguls that have multiple different stations, I think the easiest way to break this down is traditional TV channels or categories, right? So you have channels, categories, etc., etc. Okay? How do productions get good at making content for audiences? Now take, for example, a general practitioner, a doctor, the family doctor, right? They sort of act as a hub. They don't do much themselves. They do some basic stuff themselves, but as soon as you have a really serious knee problem, or you have some breathing issues, or you have sleep issues, then they'll send you to a sleep doctor. They'll send you to a specialist, right? Why? Because a specialist knows more about a certain field than that doctor. Because the more focused you are on something, let's see if I got room here. Focus equals expertise. I think that's how you write it. Spell check me. Expertise equals demand. Why? Because people want to work with other people who are good at the thing that they do. Starting to make sense? Create demand for yourself as an actor. Be good at something. Specialize, right? Productions do this by specializing in certain genres. Now again, there are production companies and producers who produce stuff all over the spectrum. I'm not saying that every single person in the world has to, just only do low budget horror films until the end of time, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying until you've grown into the industry adequately. And by the way, to a certain degree, that's always correct, because you're not going to find Walt Disney Company suddenly producing horror films, right? Why? Because Disney, this distribution company, Disney, has never, in its 100 years of existing, catered to an audience that likes horror. They have been the quintessential family company from the dawn of time, because that was the core mission, and that's what they're good at, and that's what makes them Disney. Okay? So, when you start looking at the entertainment industry like that, as an actor, as a filmmaker, as a producer, you can start understanding that navigating all this is not rocket science. It's a simple matter of specialization, creating demand, and then offering good product to the people who need that. So essentially, made a bit of a mess here, it comes down to one of the most fundamental overall business principles. Product, market, fit. As an actor, you are a product. That product should have a market. If you as an actor don't feel like you have an audience, you have a market, or you have a type of, you can lean into a certain audience better than into another, it behooves you to start thinking that way. Also with your self-production stuff. Why? So that you know where to audition, which agents to approach, how to specialize in which direction so that you can understand, so that you can leverage, build a portfolio that makes sense, that tells a cohesive story, that has a through line, and is logical. Why? Because one day on the back lot at NBC Studios, Universal, whatever, they'll be filming a procedural television show. And you will have just booked a new agent. And that agent talks to the casting directors fairly regularly of that procedural TV show. I'm making up a hypothetical situation here. That happens a ton. One day, the showrunner will bust into the room, casting at Universal at NBC, and they'll say, hey guys, we need 5 Latin gangsters for a new thing that we just wrote in to the next episode that we're filming. Actually, it's this episode. We're filming it now. We need somebody like ASAP, right? 5 Mexican gangsters, and we need 2 sort of best friend types that that are going to be witnesses, right? So we just wrote this little thing in. Okay, well, casting now has a task, right? They need to find 5 Latino gangsters, and they need to find witnesses. Those descriptions might be a little bit more specific. They might be a little less specific. But if the last 2 or 3 or 4 roles that you've booked or films that you've been in are, in any way, if they in any way resemble Latin gangster, I'm just going with that example right now, could be dirty detective of Hispanic nature, could be soldier who turned on his buddies, it could be, it's that characteristic that fits. Your agent now will be like, I know just the guy. And they'll send you into the lineup. And that is product market fit, okay? That's how you think about not just breaking in, but generating continuous work. So when you do your self-productions, when you do your headshots, when you do your demo reel updates, when you go out and apply, online for castings, when you talk to agents, if you have at least the foundation of this kind of a strategy in place and you have some assets to help you complement that, you are more likely, much more likely to book more regular work. Okay, so I hope that helps understand a little bit more about industry, navigation, and just gives you the sort of building blocks. Be creative with this, and of course, if you want to talk about starting your own production company, getting that creative and financial independence, talk to us, right? There might be a link on this page, or maybe you should DM me, or I don't know. I usually don't respond on Facebook too much, but go to dreamreachmedia.com and inquire about Drasis, DRAESIS. That's the mastermind where we help actors create their own worlds financially and creatively. And there's a lot more information like this and then some in there, of course. Anyway, hope this helped. Godspeed. Happy acting.